Hi, I'm Maat van Uitert and I'm a Grand Prix Dressage trainer and USDF gold medalist based in Wellington, Florida. I thought it would be fun to take a tour of the Grand Prix Special and give you a look into how I ride the test. This is the first Grand Prix Special this horse has done, and this particular horse is a 15-year-old Russian warm blood. In the Grand Prix Special, there are 36 movements total. Here it looks like we're off the center line, but that's just the camera angle. I got a 7.5 on the halt. I try to think shoulder forward to keep the horse straight going down the center line. It also helps with getting a square halt. I school this movement and the trot after because it's easy to pick up points. Next up is the extended trot. Before this movement, I try to think shoulder in and passage to build up power for the movement. I got a 7 on this movement, which is good. A more elastic frame and ground cover will help me raise that score. At home, I school a lot of transitions within the gaits to build that elastic connection. As I'm going down the center line, I don't know if you noticed, but it says F instead of C. I just noticed that the other day and I think it's pretty funny. I guess they ran out of the letter C. I'm not sure what happened there. This is the half pass left. I got a 7. The half pass is a double coefficient movement, so a good half pass like this one improved my score. This horse didn't score well on half passes when I started riding her, so I'm pretty happy with a 7. I school a lot of shoulder in to half pass at home to improve it. In the half pass, judges are looking for a good regular trot and a good quality trot, and we're showing it well here, and that's reflected in our score. On this passage, I got a 7.5, but the transition isn't very clear, and we'll see that affects my transition score. At every level, showing clear transitions is an easy way to improve your score. On the extended trot, I got a 6.5 and a transition score of 6.5, which are good scores, but a sharper transition will improve that score. Passage is this horse's best movement, so we're able to show a clear transition back into passage. I got a 7.5 on this passage because it's well balanced and active behind. To get this mare from passage to a collected trot, I just release my fingers a little bit and put a little more leg on. After the passage is a collected trot to a right half pass. This movement works to my advantage because the collected trot before and after are scored with the half pass, so that improves my score for that box. In the Grand Prix, the right half pass is scored by itself. In both the Grand Prix and the Special, the half passes are a double coefficient movement, and so they're pretty important. This mare tends to fall a little bit on her forehand after the half passes, so in that corner I'm asking her to be more uphill. After the collected trot, I show a clear transition into passage, and for the passage, I got a 7.5. We show a rhythmic trot with good elasticity and good cadence. For the passage, extended trot passage transitions, I got a 7 because I showed more transition into the extended trot and a clear transition into the second passage. For the extended trot, I got a 6.5. Right there, my hand got a little strong, bringing her back into passage, so all I had to do was release my fingers a little bit to allow her to restore the elastic connection and relax. In this test, the overall gait score was a 7, and the overall submission score was also a 7, so I'm pretty happy with that. On this extended walk, we scored a 6.5. This horse used to have a lateral walk, which can't score more than a 5, and affected our gait score. So I worked on getting her more over her back and elastic. This particular horse doesn't have a lot of overreach in her walk, so it's difficult for us to score well on our gaits. If you're looking for a competition horse, you want one with a good walk, because in every test the walk is a double coefficient and it's very difficult to fix. On this collected walk we scored a 7 because we showed a regular rhythm and good collection. The P-off scored a 6.0, which is a great score. It's a little earthbound, but it's difficult for horses to P-off after the walk, so I'm happy with that score. The P-off is very regular, and that's reflected in our score. I got a 6.5 for the walk, P-off, passage transitions, which is a great score, but the quality of the P-off affected it. This P-off is unfortunately a low point in the test. I got a 5.5 because the trot isn't regular, and for some reason I didn't do it at eye. For the passage, P-off, passage transition, I got a 6.0. That's a good score, but the jump out of the P-off affected it. This passage is well executed, and I got a 6.0, but it's a little bit too flat for the 7.5. The canter transition and the collected canter after scored a 7.0, which is a great score. A more relaxed transition will score even better. At this point, we've seen several transitions where I could have scored better, which highlights the importance of transitions to increasing your score. This canter half pass to the right and flying change of legs scored a 6.5 because it had a good quality canter and good balance. In this canter half pass to the left, we unfortunately didn't score very well. As you see, the horse's haunches are trailing and so it lacks bend. One thing I like about the special is the canter half passes are scored separately, while in the Grand Prix they're scored together in the canter zigzag. The zigzag is also a double coefficient, while the half passes are a single coefficient in the special. This mare is very good at flying changes, and we easily do the 9 2-tempies for a score of 7.5. If she was a little more uphill and if there was a little more jump, we would score even higher. But obviously I'm very happy with a 7.5. This is a very good collected canter here. In that corner I should have gone a little bit deeper to give my 1-tempies a better placement. Now I'm doing the one-time flying changes, the 1-tempies. They were very good and we scored a 7.0 even though number 14 is together behind. But because of our correctness, balance, and fluency, we were able to get a very good score. Now we're going into the extended canter. Unfortunately, Larry loses me a little bit here. Back in my first Grand Prix with this mare, she took off with me in the extended canter, and I thought I was out of there. I thought I wasn't going to finish my test, and so now we all get kind of a little bit distracted at that point, just making sure that she stays with me. I got a 6 on that extended canter, which means it was good, but for a higher score, I need to show even more ground cover. In this canter pirouette, we got a 6.0. Even though that's a pretty good score, it could be improved by her taking more weight behind and getting more jump in the canter. This horse likes to spin in the pirouettes, so I've worked on making a more rhythmic and jumping canter to improve them. Next up are the 9 1-tempies between the pirouettes. They're good. I got a 6.0, but unfortunately they're a little hard to see because of the dust. Now we're watching the right pirouette. It was good. I got a better score on it. I got a 6.5. That's because she was jumping and taking more weight behind. When I school the right pirouette, I always practice that transition to trot. It's a hard transition for them because they just did the pirouette and they tend to think we're asking for collected canter again. I love this last trot extension because it's down the long side as opposed to the diagonal, which means it's a little bit shorter and it's at the end of the test, which is nice. In the extended trot, I got a 6.5. In the transition scores from the collected canter to the extended trot to the collected trot, I got a 5.5, which is barely sufficient. That's probably because I didn't show enough ground cover in the extended trot. This Piaffe scored a 6.0. The comment was that she was wide behind, but it was 90 degrees that day and it's the end of the test, so she lost her balance a little, so I'm happy with that score. The Passage Piaffe Passage transitions scored a 6.0. They were fluid and regular, so we got a good score. For a higher score, the transitions could be sharper. The final Passage scored a 7.5 because it was well balanced, and the final Halt scored a 7.0 because it was square. I hope you've enjoyed this tour through the Grand Prix Special. Thank you for watching. Here is my contact information in case you want to contact me for any reason. I want to say a special thank you to Carrots. Be sure to check them out on their website. A special thank you to Mainly Long Hair for making this video possible. And thank you to Seguin Sport Horses for your continued support.